àwa wòlíì tá wà lágìjù náà ń ṣerú ẹ̀ àìmọye wòlíì agìjù táwọn obìnrin máa gun orí òkè lọ bá táwọn àdẹ̀gbé sọ̀kalẹ̀ lọ bá sùn ló tẹ mélòó la fẹ́ máa sọ.
I couldn't tell him what has happened, and I felt so guilty that I was the one feeling guilty. Actually, I wasn't supposed to feel that way, but I was feeling that it was all my fault, that if I had not gone there, so I could not even go further with anything anymore. Like, he would tell me. I started, especially when I discovered that I was pregnant. At that time, I could not. It was like the introduction and everything was not even flexible. I didn't know how I was going to. So at that time, he was not asking me that what is the problem. That why my fiancé was asking me that why am I not? What is really happening? I couldn't tell my parents anything any longer about the whole thing.
Lọ́jọ́ kan ìránṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run kan a wà lórí òkè Ọlọ́run kọ́lé ó bá ń bọ̀ mo ní Ọlọ́run sọ mi kó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bóyàn sùn nínú mọ́tò ẹ̀ lórí òkè ó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ báyàn sùn mo lè dárúkọ ẹ̀ ọ̀sán tí ó ṣe wọ́n ń pè ní Paul lọ́lọ́run kọ́lé àwọn èèyàn torí wọ́n ní bàbá òótọ́ ni wọ́n á dẹ̀ tún gun orí òkè wọ́n wá gba máìkì wọ́n á dẹ̀ tún máa mínísítà.
ìkan wà ní pastor ṣe Henry Macaulay àbí kí lórúkọ pastor yẹn Macaulay kí lórúkọ first name yẹn náà Fọlọ́runṣọ́ Macaulay nìbàdàn tóun àti Délé Ògúndípẹ̀jọ ń ṣe miracle ńgbà kan ní orí church wọn wá ń ṣe wọ́n ní obìnrin kan fẹ́ rọbí ó ń rọbí míì wọ́n ti arrange ẹ̀ wọ́n ló máa bímọ ìgbà tó yá tó rí ẹ bímọ wọ́n á ní ó ń rọbí wọ́n ní ìyá kan ló dè mọ́lẹ̀ wọ́n ní kí ìyá yẹn mú kí ní ẹ̀ jáde ìgbà tí ẹ̀ máa mú nǹkan tó fi dé aṣọ yẹn tuntun bí àwọn tó ń ṣe ránjọ yẹn wọn àti Délé wá ń sọ pé mo like yín o sẹ̀lẹ̀ lèmi má bá ti hàn jẹ́ o ẹ lọ mú ẹni tó mú yín wọ ẹgbẹ́ yẹn wọ́n ṣàṣe láì mọ̀ pé Fọlọ́runṣọ́ Macaulay ti fún ọmọbìnrin nínú kwaya Délé Ògúndípẹ̀ lóyún lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́rin tó ń ṣe oyún ọmọ yẹn ló wá bá a sọ̀rọ̀ létà ọmọ ṣe ní àbí ọmọ yẹn bá a sọ̀rọ̀ that's 2 years ago gbà tọ́tọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ tó gbé ní ẹ̀jáde wọ́n tó fẹ́ pa ọmọ yẹn dàdí sá lọ sí ṣáìdì Òṣogbo lọ́hùn tó lọ farapamọ́ ọ̀tí Délé Ògúndípẹ̀ lọ sẹ́wọ̀n ńsìn kó lè dìgbò wá dé ńsìn tó lọ gba fake bail tó gbà tọmọ yẹn ṣẹ̀ jáde ó kàn sí mẹ́ wọ́n tún halẹ̀ mọ́ bàbá ẹ̀ ìyẹn ọmọ ṣe ní Macaulay wà nìbàdàn ó máa ń lọ káàkiri wọ́n ní mi ò mọ̀jọ́ tán ló belong sí ó máa ń lọ wọ́n ní kó tó ṣe ìsọjí àkọ́kọ́ báyọ̀ sùn ní hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì ibẹ̀ ló ti máa dìde lọ ṣe ìsọjí tó bá tún ṣe ìsọjí yẹn tó padà tó wá báyọ̀ yẹn sọ ó máa ní kó gẹ̀ ẹ́ máa gbé ọ̀kadà wá bá wọn lẹ́ni ìwé tó bá ń lọ ní hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì olóòpẹ gẹ̀ ẹ́ wá sí lẹ́sókè àbí lẹ́sókè hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì ní Sango ó ní bó ṣe ní kó wọn wá lẹ́sókè gẹ̀ ẹ́ mú ọmọkùnrin wá bá boyfriend ẹ̀ wá bá ó ní ọmọ ìbèrè ni pé kó fẹ́ ọ pé wọ́n jọ máa ṣe dáadáa ó wáyé wá pé gẹ́ ẹ̀ mò ń ní mẹ́sẹ̀gì kan ó ní dáàdì ṣe kí n mú bọ́ yẹn wá ó ní ìwọ nìkan mo ní mẹ́sẹ̀gì yẹn fún ó wá di lẹ́sókè hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì ní Sango ìgbà tó dé ó ní kọ́kọ́ jẹ ráìsì gẹ́ ẹ̀ ní bó ń ṣe jẹ ráìsì yẹn tó ń tẹ̀mọ́ tó ń ṣeun ó ní lọ wẹ̀ bí gẹ́ ẹ̀ ṣe lọ wẹ̀ ó ní kó ṣe máa bọ̀ wẹ̀ tó ẹ̀yẹn kó wá jókòó sórí bẹ́ẹ̀dì bàbá náà wá lọ wẹ̀ bàbá ṣe máa jáde báyìí bàbá kan wà naked ni ó dẹ̀ ti gẹ́ ẹ̀ sórí bed ó dẹ̀ ní inú bikini private party ẹ̀ ní miracle yẹn lòun fẹ́ ṣe ó dẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní bá sùn from there oyún kìíní wọ́n ṣe oyún kejì oyún kẹta oyún kẹrin ǹjẹ́ náà fọ́ránṣọ́ Macaulay àti Délé Ògúndípẹ̀ Genesis tó ń jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ ara wọn jẹ́ nǹkan báyìí tún dánú gbàgbọ́ ká máa bá kwaya èèyàn sùn ká dẹ̀ máa sákiri.
Yes, although I didn't want to come because I was afraid, but I just felt it's actually worth it for people to really know what is happening out there and how these so-called men of God go about sleeping with women, impregnating them and ruining their lives, and also giving the other people who are out there a chance to speak out, and also letting mothers who are out there who entrust their daughters to men of God, for them to also know that they can't be trusted and the lives of our young ladies out there are in danger if proper measures are not taken against these men of God. And that was the reason why I came out to speak on the behalf of other young ladies and myself.
That's very interesting. How did you meet this Prophet Macaulay, and who is he, and how did he came across you? Because I heard some of the program, some of your revelation on some YouTube channels in London, but at the time a particular guy that was handling it decided to, I don't know, maybe he changed the topic. But how did you came across this Prophet Macaulay, and who is he really?
Some 7 years ago, I went for a program in my brother's church. It was a Redeemed church where he was invited. That's when he gave me a prophecy concerning my life, that by the time I turned 25, that I'll run mad.
You run mad?
Yes, that was what he said. So that there was something I needed to do. So after then, he told us what to do. We actually followed his instruction. And I didn't see him then until later when I joined Genesis Global. When I got there, I saw him coming to the church, and the way he sees visions according to him, he tells a lot of people a lot of things, and people kind of testify to it that he's saying the truth, and the way he goes about doing his vision and everything. So everybody feels, including I, feels that he's a man of God and he's a very strong, spiritual, strong man. So he's been coming to our church several times. Then there was a day, I think in 2018, yes, I saw him. I was at Abulegba, so I think a mall, towards a mall. I went there, I greeted him with excitement. He gave me his number. I told him that I've known him 7 years ago. He came to our church, that somebody that had given me a prophecy before and all. So we exchanged numbers. He asked me to call him the following day by 10, which I did. And after I called, he cut my calls twice, and I didn't bother calling him again because I wasn't really cool. He didn't call me back. I felt like, you told me to call. It wasn't as if I wanted to call you. So later on, early January, in fact, first week of January, I saw his Facebook request. He sent a friend request to me on Facebook. So I was excited sort of, but at the same time I was like skeptical that hope is not as if it's all these scammers. So I texted him and like, excuse me, is this really you? So he did a video call with me which confirmed that he was the one, and that was all. Until one day when he called me and told me that he told me to call him the following day, that same day by 5, which I did, and eventually, to cut the whole story short, he called me one day and said he wanted to meet my fiance. That do I have a relationship? I said yes. He said he wanted to meet the person I was, so he told me to come and meet him up at an hotel, which I actually went to with my
which hotel?
Havana Hotel and Suites at Gowan Estate. So I went there. So on getting there with my fiance, he now told my fiance that I was a good person, I'm a good child. He said a lot of things about me as if he had known me. He said it was the Spirit of the Lord that told him that I'm a very decent lady. He said many things, and he said the guy should not treat me badly. And I attested at that time that no, he's a perfect young man. He now said, we now told him that my introduction was close, like it was 4 weeks close by, that we had 4 weeks to my introduction, that I should pray along with us and everything. So I think that the following week, I think he called me on a Sunday and told me that I should fast on a Tuesday, that he wanted to, there was a revelation he saw, he wants to pray for me about it. So, and I said, can't he talk about it over the phone? He said no, that he had to see me in person. So he said he was coming to Genesis on Tuesday. So I said, okay, no problem. That okay, when he comes, that he should let me know so that we can see and talk about it.
Which of the parishes of Genesis?
The one at Alakoko.
Okay.
So I was wondering that what kind of, because I was scared, like, hey, hope it's not something bad, though. My introduction is around the corner, of which I had even informed Israel Oladele that we were about getting married, that we even needed him to give us a go ahead, because Israel Oladele Ogundipe, prophet in charge of Genesis Global, was actually aware from the inception of the relationship, even till that time. So when I expected, I didn't see Prophet Macaulay Folorunsho at the program eventually. So I was on my way home when his call came in, and he said he was unable to make it for the program because he has another program that he's planning to go for. So I now said, he now said, and he needs to give me the message that it's very, very important.
And he cannot give you a phone?
He said he couldn't give me the message on phone. So I decided that, okay. And I said, what are we now going to do? He now said, I was thinking he was probably going to say maybe another day. So he now said, okay, can I come and meet him somewhere around Ijoko? That, do I know Ijoko? I said, I know Ijoko. He now said, I should come and meet him there. He said, when I get to Songo, I think he said when I get to Songo, I should call him. Okay, he said when I get to Songo, I should call him. But he mentioned Lesoke. That's what Lesoke. That's the way he mentioned it. So I said, okay, that when I get to Songo, I'm going to ask for Lesoke, because I actually felt Lesoke was an area around there. So I just took a bike when I got to Songo and said, I'm going to Lesoke. So it was when we now got there that I now saw that it was an hotel, because I didn't know. I now called him. I was like, hotel ni our, but I didn't feel insecure, because the first time I and my fiancé went to meet him, hotel no ni. We went there to meet him at the hotel, so I didn't have any reason to question, and knowing fully well that he was a spiritual person and was a man of God, I never even thought that he had ulterior motive. So I now said, hotel Nibi, but I now said that I should be coming up, that he has a program, and most of the time when they have programs, they lodge them very close to an hotel where it will be easy for mobility for them to access the program, the place. So I went in. So when I got there, he asked me if I was still fasting. I told him that yes, I was still fasting. He now said, I had to break my fast. And I said, that I'm not really hungry, that I'll break my fast when I get home. So he insisted that I have to break my fast, that he's not my father, that can't he talk to me. And he was almost getting angry, and I didn't want him to get angry, like, because I really, really hold him in high esteem. I was always afraid of him and everything. So I ate the food.
What food was that? He
told me to eat rice, and I told him that after so much persuasion, I ate the food. And after I ate the food, I just noticed that everything changed. I started taking to everything he asked me to do. If he says do this, without question, and I noticed that I was numb, sort of, and I was feeling dizzy, very uncomfortable. But I was helpless and I was powerless. That was how he had his way with me. Took advantage of me and slept with me.
That same day?
That same day.
How did he do it? He just undressed you or what?
He didn't undress me. Like I said earlier, that I was uncomfortable. I was numb. Everything he was telling me to do, I was doing it after I ate the food, because I was quite normal before I ate that food. Because it really took time for me to really sit down and like, what really happened? So after that, he was giving me instructions, do this, do that. I kept doing everything, and that was how he raped me. It was a rape. It was not like I consented with him. There was nothing like that. And after that, he told me that he should not be heard from me, that I should not tell anybody anything.
He said that to you?
Yes.
Was it like a threat or a plea?
It was a threat. That woman boruko eyan and stuffs.
How did he say it in Yoruba?
Ṣé mo mọ̀ pé òjíṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run ni òun ò dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ gbọ́ pé mo lọ sí ibì kan pé mo wá lọ sọ nǹkan kan fún ẹnìkan kan o, ṣé mo ti gbọ́? It sounded harsh. at the same time he was trying to be subtle while saying it. So I was afraid and I left, and I couldn't even tell anyone.
Sorry.
Please, can I have a minute?
Sorry. Don't break down. Now, I've told you not to break down before this interview. Huh? I've told you not to break down. Sorry. It will be over. Just take it easy. Take it easy. It will be over. You need to be very courageous in order for you to be able to give an information that will reform a lot of people. You know, you need to be very courageous. Just take it easy, okay? Just be strong. You know, these things happened. It happens to people. It happens to a lot of women. And in most cases, it could be your own campaign. I've told you about other people who have gone through it. So, and I prepared your mind before this interview. You know, so try to just be courageous. Sorry. Just take it easy. Take it easy. It's gonna be okay. Let's continue. Just be courageous. Just for the sake of this broadcast, okay? So that day at Lesoke, that was what happened. That was what happened. And you couldn't just comprehend yourself. You couldn't get your bearing again. It was like you were under a spell.
Yes, it was like I've been hypnotized. I knew it couldn't have been me. Like, so he told me to leave, and I left. I was devastated. I went back to see my fiancé that same day, and I could not tell him anything because one, I knew we were very close to my introduction and our introduction, and
sorry, take it easy. Take it easy. You have to be strong. I know you're a young person. It's not easy when people break your heart. That's what happened. Just take it easy. And increase your voice. Sorry. And you couldn't just, you are not even free to tell him what happened.
He noticed something was wrong.
Okay.
He repeatedly asked me that what was the problem. He kept asking me, but I could not tell him because I was so afraid. I didn't know what he would do at that time, so I decided not to tell him anything. I was still not fine. Like, after so many days, I still was not myself. Not quite long. 3 weeks later, I discovered I was pregnant. My
God. Were you able to do that, your traditional marriage?
No.
So what happened? Before was it before that you discovered you were pregnant, or after that didn't take place?
After the incident.
Okay.
I couldn't tell him what has happened. And I felt so guilty that I was the one feeling guilty, actually. I wasn't supposed to feel that way, but I was feeling that it was all my fault, that if I had not gone there. So I could not even go further with anything anymore. Like, he would tell me, I started, especially when I discovered that I was pregnant. At that time, I could not, it was like the introduction and everything was not even
fixable.
I didn't know how I was going to. So at that time, he was not asking me that what is the problem. That why my fiancé was asking me that why am I not, what is really happening. I couldn't tell my parents anything any longer about the whole thing. So when I discovered that I was now pregnant, I called this man and I told him that, excuse me, sir, this is what has happened.
Me following my colleague?
Yes. The man just treated me like an animal.
How?
Just jammed me over the phone that she mo fe ba ministry on Jenny.
That was what his response?
Yes, she mo fe ko ba on that I should go and look for a way to sort it out and everything.
thing that you told him in a humble way that daddy, I've missed my period. So he just trashed you on phone?
He just trashed me over the phone. So I went for it. He now told me that I had to look for a way to go and get rid of the pregnancy forcefully. And knowing fully well that I was about getting introduced and probably engaged at the same time, I didn't know what to do. I was confused.
You were totally confused.
I was totally confused. So I had to go and get rid of the pregnancy.
How was the experience?
It was painful.
How many weeks was that pregnancy then?
It was 3 weeks.
Speak loud.
It was 3 weeks.
Okay.
It was 3 weeks. So after the whole thing, all of a sudden I saw his call again. But I noticed that ever since that first incident, he had a very strong hold on me. I'm not always able to turn back or resist or words. If he shouts at me, I'm not always able to. I can't even control myself around him. Like he has this strong hold on me. On my emotions. I can't, because I'm not the hard type. So when he came back, he was begging over the phone and he requested I wanted to see me. He begged and begged. I told him I wouldn't see him, that after all he did to me, that there was no how I would see him. I never wanted to set my eyes on him. I started saying many things. He later said I should please. I now reluctantly said, okay, no problem. I was going to see him. I got there I was on my way with so much anger that I'm going to talk, I'm going to this, I'm going to that. I was so angry. But on getting there, I couldn't say anything.
You became calm again?
I became very calm.
Was it at Lesoke or another hotel?
It was another hotel.
Where this time around? You've forgotten?
I can't remember.
Okay. In Lagos?
Yes, Lagos. I became very calm. Very, very calm. And that was where he started telling me that he was sorry. He was prostrating several times. And I didn't even know what to say.
Prostrating? Really? You really mean prostrating for you?
Yes, prostrating for me. That I was sorry. That is how, that was how it happened. So after he prostrated and everything, all of a sudden, that was when he now told me that what he did that day, he didn't just do it. He's sorry that he doesn't have a wife, that his wife died around January 20th, 2010, and ever since then he didn't have a wife, that he's sorry that he doesn't have anyone, that he has been alone all the while and everything, that what happened that day is not as if he just wanted to just take advantage of me, or that he wants to have a relationship with me, that he cares about me.
So you are confused again?
I was confused.
This is a man who gave you prophecy, you and your fiancé, and told your fiancé that he should marry you, that you are good.
Yes.
Now he want you for himself.
Yes. So after that, I became confused. At the same time, something had happened between I and this man. I could not go to tell my fiancé that this happened, and I saw it that it would not be cool for me to withhold that kind of thing. I wouldn't, if I tell him at the same time, it was going to destroy everything we ever had. So this man now came up with the issue of him wanting to have a relationship with me, or a marriage or anything. So I told him then that, but you know who I am with, you know that I am getting married very soon, you know this, you know that. At that point in time, he now told me that I should go and end my relationship with the guy.
Was that an instruction or an order?
It was an order.
He gave you an order?
He gave me a straight order. And I couldn't turn back. I couldn't turn him around. I couldn't say no. I couldn't fight. I couldn't do anything. I just said, okay. He gave me money, and I took the money. He was even the one who gave me the Uber money that I used to go and pack my things from his house.
Your fiance's house.
Yes, because we already building the home together. Let's build the home together and all. So I had so many of my things there, even the things we bought together. So I packed all those things, and when my fiance came back, he was like, what's happening there? He was confused. He called my parents. My parents were talking to me, and when I called Macaulay told me that I should tell him that I didn't want to be rushed. That why is he rushing me for marriage? So it was everything he told me that I was always doing. I knew I was under a strong spiritual influence. I could not say no. I couldn't say yes. The second pregnancy came, and that was the same way he threatened me to abort the pregnancy.
How did it came? How did it slay with you this time around? Was it after you moved out of your fancy?
After I moved out of my fiance's house.
He gave you an appointment again?
He gave me an appointment.
Where? You forgot your hotel.
Name of the hotel, I think is Santos. Santos, I think is around.
Okay, Dokpemu.
Somewhere like that. Yes.
Around Dokpemu roundabout.
So he gave me another appointment again, and that is how things have been going on till led to the third pregnancy.
He also ordered you to remove the second one.
Yes.
Why?
I asked him. He said he has a very strong and influential. He's a strong and influential person. He doesn't want me to get pregnant. That people will talk. People with this. People will crucify him.
He doesn't want to get married to you with pregnancy.
Yes, that was what he said. And all the while, my mind never really left the other guy. I was always thinking. Sometimes I would ask him. I would tell him that but you know that this guy did not offend me. He would tell me that no, he would shout at me sometimes. So I was weak. I was helpless. I couldn't tell anybody anything.
You are just in a kind of a cocoon.
Yes, I was like in a cocoon, like in a cage, where I could not actually voice out to anyone because I know him. I knew. And let's take it back that this man was an arm robber for 20 years.
Jesus, you mean this my colleague?
Yes, he was
Lord.
an arm robber for 20 years.
He shared the information with you.
He has slept in Agodi in Ibadan before. He was a notorious arm robber. So all these things were the things that I knew I wasn't safe. Going out there to talk was really, really scary. So the only thing I could do was just keep quiet and just keep watching the movie. But in my mind, I knew that it was not like I really, really wanted anything to do with this man. I didn't even really see it like a relationship. So it was just like I was caged. So not quite long. After that time, I got pregnant again the third time. So when I got pregnant, he told me that I had to go again and remove the pregnancy.
The third time?
Third time.
That is killing. That is deadly.
I know, like, why again now? But this, you told me the other time. And then I always remember that I was always telling him that, look, that the process of abortion is not easy. It's painful, and I could lose my womb doing this continuous thing. That you should please that. Let's look for another alternative. And I was, I didn't even know what to do anymore. But because it was always what he wanted. If I say no like this, my manager. So I decided that, okay. He said this is what was going to happen. I had to go and terminate the pregnancy. He forced me, and this very day, a day to that day, I got to get some things to use, because that was what he said. I should look for a way to terminate pregnancy, and
he was even urging you.
Yes. So I got some things that I used. So 2 days after then, he told me that I should come and meet him around Apapa. He had a program. That's how he goes about for programs. Anytime he's going for his program, he's always taking me along. He will sleep with me before he goes for the program.
He will sleep with you in the hotel.
He still go to the people and
direct from on top of you to the altar.
Yes, and tell people that he's fasting.
He will still tell them in the congregation that he's fasting.
Yes.
After sleeping with you.
Yes.
My Lord Jesus Christ.
Because I've been privileged to see 1 or 2 clips like that he did, because he doesn't take me along.
The Lord said, Mi gbọ́dọ̀ break tá a máa fi parí tí máa fi kúrò níbí.
The man of God must not break his fast until he leaves here.
Láti ìgbà tí mo ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ Olúwa.
Ever since the prophet has started the work of the ministry,
Mi ò gbàwẹ̀ kó ní mi lára tó báyìí rí.
he has not fasted and it's been difficult for him.
Ó ní mi lára.
It was so difficult.
Agídí ni mo fi débí.
He got here by his force.
He comes back again and does the same thing.
After bathing, he will just shower and come on.
He will do the same thing. He has always done that. That is how it has always been. Anytime he's going for his program, he has to take me along, and he will camp me in the hotel and give me strict instructions that I must not go anywhere. So this very day, I went to meet him at Apapa. He told me that he's going for a program that when it's 12 o'clock, I should check out of the hotel and go and wait for him at CMD. I went to CMD. I waited for him there. He came. After we left CMD, he said we were going to Ibadan. We went to Ibadan again. Before I was sleeping in the car, and I was about waking up when he now told me that he got a message from God that he wants to go to and it was a Sunday. He got a message from God that he wants to go to the mountain to go and pray. That it is very important that I should go to his own house, because as of then I'd known his house, I'd met his children. He showed me his wife's burial ground, and there was nothing like there was another woman in the house at that time, nothing like that. So which gave me the conviction that okay, this man is saying the truth. And I was looking at it that he would tell me that there's nothing I want to go and do at the other guy's house, she and I want to go and tell him the truth. That if I tell him the truth, he will not marry me, not tele. He will threaten me and put so much fears in my heart. So I won't say anything. When I now got to Ibadan and he told me that I should go to his house, I said from Apapa to CMD to Ibadan to your house. Okay, you are.
His house.
His house is in Olodo.
Olodo in Ibadan.
Yes.
Yes, I know Olodo.
In
Like
Cocoa Estate, Olodo Bank, Cocoa Estate. That's where he stays. Kowokpe House. Beside Kowokpe House. That is his address. So when he now said I should go, I now said, And I said, see, you want to leave me in that house all alone by myself? Like if you knew you were not going to stay at home, you should have left me in Lagos. Then go to my own house. Yes. He now said, if you don't want to go to the house, don't go to the house now. Take money and go back to Lagos. I was not angry that from Apapa to CMD to Ibadan back to Lagos. That don't you? He chased me out of the car as if I was a nobody. Bole. As in
that God is telling him to go to the mountain and he has to ridicule you.
So I just collected.
That you are his emotional partner.
I collected the key reluctantly and I was like, okay, no problem. I went to his house. But while I was there, my mom called me. I don't even know why she called.
Sorry. She told you to take it easy.
She called with prayers.
Your mom?
Yes, she was just praying for me. I didn't know why she was praying. She prayed really hard.
That's your mom? My mom. Was she getting a kind of intuition about your predicament?
She was like, what is happening? Why am I that she's having this feeling that I've been unstable about my relationship and everything. What is really happening? She kept asking me. I couldn't tell her. She just prayed for me. And I noticed that after the prayers, I just had this unrest in my spirit that I should leave the house. So I left. When I got to Lagos, I know they would have locked our gates.
It was in the night?
Because I left Ibadan like around past 9. So
in the night? Yes. So you left that house
that night after my mom.
Didn't sleep over?
I didn't sleep over.
And he dropped you near the Oroke by what time?
He didn't drop me at any Oroke. He dropped me somewhere in Ibadan that I should take a bike or take a bus and go home.
Ọlọ́run ayé wọn lọ́kàn padà.
Àmín Jésù sà.
Ó gbàládùra o. Ọlọ́run ayé wọn lọ́kàn padà.
Because ẹ̀rù bà wá ni sà, because ẹ̀yin wòlíì àgìjù bẹ́ẹ̀ tọ́lọ́run fi nǹkan hàn lánìkẹ́ kan la ọ̀yàn lóye, because àwọn èèyàn sì wà nú ìdè yẹn, wọ́n sì ń lọ, wọ́n sì ń tẹ̀lé, ó wà nú ẹ̀wọ̀n, wọ́n láwọn ra jíìpù fún, ó wà nú ẹ̀wọ̀n, kò sí nǹkan tó ń ṣe tán nígbà tó yẹ pé wọ́n tẹ̀wọ̀n pé irọ́ ni gbogbo ẹ̀, ó ti fẹ́ obìnrin bíi 10 ló ti fún lóyún, ló ti bímọ fún.
Mo tún gbàládùra kọ́lọ́ yí wọn lọ́kàn padà.
Àmín Jésù sà.
Àwa wòlíì tá wà lágìjù náà ń ṣerú ẹ̀, àìmọye wòlíì àgìjù táwọn obìnrin máa gun orí òkè lọ bá, táwọn dẹ̀gbé sọ̀kalẹ̀ lọ bá sùn ló tẹ. Mélòó la fẹ́ máa sọ.
gbé wọn sọ̀kalẹ̀ láti orí òkè.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
ṣe lẹ́sọ́kè hotel ní Sango sir.
lórí òkè tí mò ń dárúkọ tí mo ní mo pẹ́ ń bẹ̀ ọmọkùnrin evangelist ni ìkan nínú àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ orí òkè ni ó báyà sùn ó bọ́mọ sùn ó wá bá ìyá sùn ìyá wa ń gbẹ́.
My Lord Jesus Christ. ìyá ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní depreciate.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ọmọ wa lóyún ọmọ yẹn wá bímọ ohun tó ń fi pè mí tí mo fi dá sí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn mo dẹ̀ pé àwọn tó jálákòóso orí òkè àtẹ̀ntàn fi ṣe bàbá orí òkè ń bẹ̀ ṣé ẹ mọ̀ wípé wọ́n kàn dọ́gbọ́n ilé tí bàbá apọ́stù Ayọ̀ Babalọ́lá gbé nípẹ̀tù Ìjẹ̀ṣà ní ìkànnú àwọn ọmọ mi mú obìnrin yẹn lọ bó ṣe ìlì nìyẹn.
obìnrin tó ń gbẹ yìí.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
wọ́n ti lo ìyá wọ́n ti lo ọmọ pẹ̀lú.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ní orí òkè Ìdó Àjìnàrè. bó wá ránṣẹ́ sí wọn wípé káwọn tó jálàgbà abẹ kan bójú tó ohun tó ń ṣe wọ́n dẹ̀ ṣe wúruwúru wọ́n paná ẹ̀ ẹni tó báyàn sùn tó báyà sùn tó bọ́mọ sùn wọ́n tún dá padà sórí kúpìtì ó wà ń bẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́.
wọ́n dá padà kẹ̀ without no discipline nothing.
wọn ò ṣàtúnṣe mo gbé ọmọ mi gan dìde ní Àkúrẹ́ pé kó lọ bá wọn wọ́n jọ lọ bá wòlíì kan lórí òkè Ìrágbèjì wòlíì yẹn afọ́jú ni wọ́n ṣáà mi ní parọ́ àbọ̀dé báyìí gbogbo tọ́nà máa ṣe fún ọmọ wọn ò ṣe ọmọ yẹn evangelist yẹn tún wá lérí pé òun máa pa ìyá yẹn.
lórí àìsòótọ́ yìí náà.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Ọlọ́run kí ni gbogbo ìjọ dì nítorí Ọlọ́run.
mi ì tí ì ráyè lọ́bẹ̀ mo dẹ̀ ṣe ń lọ́bẹ̀. èmi ò mọ.
lórí ẹni tó ṣẹ̀ pé kán dẹ̀ sòótọ́ kán tẹ̀ pọ́níṣẹ̀ kán lè dànù kán jẹ́ kó jẹ ìyàbọ̀ dẹ̀ jọ́dún kan suspension kó fi wá sí ìmúlọ́kàndá.
torí wọ́n mọ̀ mí lórí òkè yẹn dáadáa gbogbo ìlú yẹn ló mọ̀ mí dáadáa kò dẹ̀ sẹ́ni tó máa sọ pé mo dẹnu kọ òun lórí òkè yẹn pé mo fẹ́ fẹ́ òun kò dẹ̀ sẹ́ni tó máa sọ pé mo gbé obìnrin sọ̀kalẹ̀ látòrí òkè yẹn mo gbé lọ gbòòrò mo lọ bá sùn àti lórí òkè Ẹ̀fọ̀n àti lérí o àti lódò Ọwá o àti lọ́lọ́nkọ́lé o. kò dẹ̀ sí even though lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ orí òkè tán ti mọ̀ mí àwa lọ́jọ́ kan ìránṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run kan àwa lórí òkè Ọlọ́nkọ́lé ó bá ń bọ̀ mo ní Ọlọ́run sọ mi kó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bóyàn sùn nínú mọ́tò inú mọ́tò ẹ̀ lórí òkè ó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ báyàn sùn mo lè dárúkọ ẹ̀ ọ̀sán tí ó ṣe wọ́n ń pè ní Paul lọ́lọ́nkọ́lé àwọn èèyàn torí wọ́n ní bàbá òótọ́ ni wọ́n á dẹ̀ tún gun orí òkè wọ́n wá gba máìkì wọ́n á dẹ̀ tún máa mínísítà.
irú nǹkan òórùn wò lélẹ̀ lórí pẹpẹ Ọlọ́run.
so ṣe rí gbogbo nǹkan wọ̀nyí Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ àwọ̀run àpáàdì ohun tèmi kàn fẹ́ sọ ẹ jẹ́ ká ronú ká pè wàdà kò sóhun tá a fẹ́ gbà ń bẹ̀ o kò sóhun tá a fẹ́ gbà ń bẹ̀ ní ti gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá wa gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ jẹ́ jíò gbogbo àwọn ọmọlẹ́yìn yín ẹ ṣe spiritual checking kan yé jẹ́ kan máa kó ẹrẹ̀ bá yín èkejì dẹ̀ ni wípé gbogbo àwọn àgùntàn tó jẹ́ pé ọwọ́ wa ni tí wọ́n ti bàjẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ á padà lè san mí èrè o ẹ jẹ́ á padà ká lọ ṣe àtúnṣe so bó ti rí nìyẹn.
sà kí ká tó sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ bá mú fóònù yẹn jọ ká tó sọ̀rọ̀ sà last kìíní tí ọlọ́run gbé yín wá torí àmọ́ bí tẹ́ bá tún lọ sìn ó tún lè lé díẹ̀ ọlọ́run lò yín láti jẹ́ iṣẹ́ kan yìí pé akọrin ní Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí pé ọlọ́run fi ìran hàn yín many years ago fídíò yẹn ká tó gbé jáde ó pẹ́ June 8 la gbé jáde nítorí mo lọ sí Abuja ní June 8 àwa gbé jáde but by June 12 ṣe ló dà pé ọmọ ẹ obìnrin yẹn lọ fẹ́nu sàn kankan níbì kan ó lọ bú èèyàn kan làwọn èèyàn wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní sọ pé ẹnìkan nígbà tó ń wo fídíò ẹ̀ wọ́n rò pé ìránṣẹ́ ọlọ́run yìí parọ́ pé kò lè jẹ́ Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí lọ́n bá ó níbẹ̀ ìgbà tó ń wá wo kíní yẹn wá ní báwo ló ṣe wà so accurate èso ṣé ẹ̀mí òkùnkùn náà ni wọ́n ní pé wọ́n ń jà lórí pé ọlọ́run ló ní dúró ọlọ́run ṣó ní dúró or something like that ó ní bí ẹ ṣe ń ka ìròyìn yìí gbogbo àwọn tó gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tí gbajúmọ̀ olórin ẹ̀mí ni Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí sọ nípa orin tí ẹgbẹ́ rẹ̀ kan Adéyínká Aláṣeyọrí kọ tí Tọ́pẹ́ ní orin náà kì í ṣe orin gidi ó yẹ kí onígbàgbọ́ máa kọ ni wọ́n ti gbé Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí ṣépè báyìí tí wọ́n sì ń jẹ́ kó mọ̀ wípé kì í ṣe onígbàgbọ́ tó yẹ kéèyàn máa gbọ́ orin rẹ̀ rárá pẹ̀lú bó ṣe bá orin tí olórin ẹ̀mí ẹgbẹ́ rẹ̀ kọ jẹ́ tó sì sọ pé kò sí ẹ̀mí mímọ́ nínú ẹni tó kọ orin náà pẹ̀lú bó ṣe ń fi orin wé bó ṣe ń fi ọlọ́run wé onídùúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ṣe gbọ́ ìṣòro gbajúmọ̀ wòlíì Táíwò Òjó nílùú Èkó ní Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí tó ti kọrin lóru ọjọ́ Friday mọ́jú Saturday ọ̀sẹ̀ tó kọjá yìí lọ nígbà tó débẹ̀ tó kí àwọn èèyàn tán kò tiẹ̀ tí kọrin tí wọ́n ní kó wá kọ tí Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí fi sọ fún gbogbo ìjọ náà pé kí wọ́n má tún máa bá wọn kọ orin onídùúró mi ẹ ṣeun wò bó bá ṣe ènìyàn ló dúró a ti máa sọ̀rọ̀ bó bá ṣe ènìyàn ló dúró ni a ti sá lọ onídùúró mi ẹ ṣeun tí Adéyínká Aláṣeyọrí kọ mọ́ Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí sọ fún wọn ní òru ọjọ́ náà pé orin burúkú lórin náà nítorí pé kì í ṣe ẹ̀mí mímọ́ tó jẹ́ ẹ̀mí ọlọ́run ló fún Adéyínká Aláṣeyọrí ní orin náà ó ní bí ọmọbìnrin náà ṣe ń pe ọlọ́run ní onídùúró tàbùkù ọlọ́run tí kò sì yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ rárá lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ni wọ́n ní Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí sọ̀rọ̀ yìí tán tó kọrin tó fẹ́ kọ tán ní wòlíì Táíwò Òjó tó ní ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì náà padà sórí àga ìwàásù orin tí Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí ní kò dáa fún onígbàgbọ́ tó ní ẹ̀mí mímọ́ bíi tóun ni wòlíì Táíwò Òjó kọ́kọ́ mú sẹ́nu ní ìdájọ́ ọjọ́ Sátidé June 12 tí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ọ̀hún ṣẹlẹ̀ tí ìránṣẹ́ ọlọ́run yìí ní orin náà ẹ̀mí ọlọ́run ẹ̀mí mímọ́ ló ní kóun máa kọ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí láwọn ará ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì náà pẹ̀lú àwọn tó sojú wọn gbé síta táwọn èèyàn fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní bú Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára tí wọ́n sì ń bi léèrè pé ṣé orin tiẹ̀ tó kọ pé ọtí Jésù ń pa mí àbí orin rẹ tó ní káwọn ọmọ oníyàwó máa bá iṣẹ́ wọn lọ ló jẹ́ orin ẹ̀mí mímọ́ ohun tí Yorùbá Tòótọ́ gbọ́ lórí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí ni pé Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ṣe késẹ́ẹ̀tì kan jáde tó pe àkọlé rẹ̀ ní èmi ni tí kò tà lọ́jà rárá táwọn èèyàn kò sì mọ̀ pé ọmọbìnrin náà ṣe orin jáde rárá wọ́n ní nígbà tí Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí bi àwọn mákẹ́tà léèrè pé ohun tí kò jẹ́ kí késẹ́ẹ̀tì tuntun òun tà lọ́jà táwọn kò sì mọ̀ pé ó ṣe késẹ̀sì jáde ni wọ́n ní àwọn mákẹ́tà jẹ́ kó Tọ́pẹ́ mọ̀ pé orin onídùúró mi ẹ ṣeun tí Adéyínká Aláṣeyọrí kọ làwọn èèyàn ń bò wìtìwìtì lọ́jà báyìí láti ìgbà tí wọ́n ní Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí ti gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ni wọ́n ló ti ń wá gbogbo ọ̀nà láti máa bà orin náà jẹ́ tí wọ́n sì ní ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí ló fà á tó fi ń lọ jíṣẹ́ fún wọn ní ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì wòlíì Táíwò Òjó lọ́sẹ̀ tó kọjá lọ yìí pé orin burúkú ni orin ọmọbìnrin náà kì í ṣe ẹ̀mí mímọ́ ló fún un lórin ọ̀hún káwọn èèyàn má gbọ́ mọ́ ju gbogbo ẹ̀ lọ ẹ̀sìn àti ẹlẹ́yà làwọn èèyàn ń fi Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí ṣe káàkiri orí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára báyìí kódà táwọn èèyàn ń gbé àwọn òde ayẹyẹ ibi tí Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí àti ọmọ rẹ̀ ti ń kọ orin náà síta kódà ibì kan wà tí Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí ti ń ṣe bí ẹni tó wọnú ẹ̀mí lọ lásìkò tó ń kọrin onídùúró mi ẹ ṣeun tó ń fẹnu àbùkù kàn báyìí sà kí lè rí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí because the 4th day tí interview yìí jáde ló ṣì wà yìí wò ṣé ó ní ìdádúrà àbí ǹjẹ́ ó ní nǹkan Tọ́pẹ́ ní ìdá tí wá bí akẹ́ gbọ́ọ́lẹ̀ àbí kó ṣiṣẹ́ ìràpadà lórí òkè sà láti bọ́ nínú rògùn yìí sà.
kó lọ bá jàǹdà kú kó gbọ́wọ́lé o.